Hey guys, what's up? The OCG Banlist is now out, and so we'll take a look at how this may affect us later on in the TCG. The newly forbidden cards are Masterpiece, the True Draco'S King, and Draconic Diagram. These aren't surprising. Masterpiece is a light worm level 8 with 2950 attack and 2950 defense, and its effect reads: to tribute summon this card face up, you contribute continuous spell and trap cards you control as well as monsters. It's unaffected by the effects with the same card type, monster, spell and or trap, as the original card type of the cards attributed for its tribute summon. Once per turn, during either player's turn, if you control this tribute summon monster, you can banish one continuous spell or trap card from your graveyard, then target one other card on the field and destroy it. This card gets used very frequently, and since you are removing already used spell and trap cards of which would not normally have any use for, you can get rid of problematic cards on your opponent's field without any real cost to you. The second card is Draconic Diagram. This is a field spell that says all True Draco and True King monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense. The first time each tribute summoned True Draco or True King monster would be destroyed by battle. Each turn it is not destroyed. Once per turn you can destroy one other card you control or in your hand, and if you do, add one True Draco or True King card from your deck to your hand. This is lethal within the deck, as they can be searched out for. The cards you want, they get a small bonus, but most of them have attack over 2000. And the destruction effects have been splashed into other decks, making it more versatile than perhaps other field spells. The next list is the newly limited. We have Tribe Infecting Virus. This is a Water Aqua level 4 with 1600 attack and 1000 defense. Its effect is discard one card from your hand and declare one type of monster. Destroy all face-up monsters of the field with the declared type. This card has been banned for a long time, mostly because it could eliminate entire fields. If your opponent was running a deck that had mostly the same type and was not limited to a once per turn, so provided you have cards in your hand, you can still use this effect. I think it has been semi-limited. I think it's been limited because most people run a variety of types these days, even considering with the extra deck monsters, so Konami is probably testing whether people will use it. If it sees no use, it may go back to 3. Its stats aren't even that great to make it worth running. The next card is Alistair the Invoker. This is a dark spellcaster level 4 with 1000 attack and 1800 defense, and its effect is during either player's turn, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one fusion monster you control. It gains 1000 attack and defense until the end of this turn. If this card is normal summoned or flipped face up, you can add one invocation from your deck to your hand. This card is necessary for any invoked fusion monster, and they have had a lot of ups within the last format, especially within invoked Wind Witches and other hybrids. They can go into making a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and Raijin tends to be quite a problem for opponents, as they can stop you from using your monster effects, or even protect itself by flipping himself face down. With this restriction, this makes these decks unplayable now, as before when they were at 3 you could rely on drawing into them easily. However, now you may have to put specific search cards in the deck to find it, which would waste your resources. The next card is Dynamite Knight, the True Drago Fighter. This is a water worm, level 6 with 2500 attack and 1200 defense. Its effect is to tribute summon this card face up. You can tribute a continuous spell or trap card you control instead of a monster. Once per turn and during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect while you control this tribute summon monster, you can take one True Draco or True King continuous trap card from your deck and either activate it or add it to your hand. This card permits you to respond to an opponent's action and so can reduce their ability to do anything. This needed to be limited as it is one of the go-to monsters in the deck and is too powerful as its summoning is not difficult and responding to any situation is too much for a monster with this strength. It would be different if it had something like 1500 attack, as you could at least run it over. The next card is Soul Eating Oviraptor. This is a dark dinosaur level 4 with 1800 attack and 500 defense, and its effect is if this card is normal or special summoned, you can take one dinosaur monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can target one other level 4 or lower dinosaur type monster on the field, destroy it, then special summon one dinosaur type monster from your graveyard in defense position. You can only use each effect of Soul Eating Oviraptor once per turn. This card is necessary as it is the staple within the dinosaur deck as a searcher and to trigger destruction based effects of cards such as Baby Ceratosaurus. And by limiting it, this will at least hold this deck at bay. This, along with the True Kings, have been topping events and considered one of the top decks for the time. Speaking of which, the next card is Baby Ceratosaurus. This is an Earth dinosaur level 2 with 500 attack and 500 defense, and its effect is, if this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon one level 4 or lower dinosaur type monster from your deck. I thought I would never see the day that this card became relevant. I remember seeing this in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX as part of Tyranno Hasselbury's tactics, where he destroyed Jurassic World with a trap card, and that destroyed both players' monsters. This card is gone because it works with Oviraptor. The next card is ABC Buster Dragon. This is a light machine fusion level 8 with 3000 attack and 2800 defense, and it requires A. Assault Core, B. Buster Drake, and C. Crush Wyvern. It must first be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above cards you control and or from your graveyard. You do not use polymerization. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can discard one card, then target one card on the field, banish it. During your opponent's turn, you contribute this card, then target 3 of your banished light machine type Union monsters with different names, special summon them. This is a quick effect. This card has great relevance a while ago and was easily summonable through the Union Hanger field spell to bring out its Union monsters. It can blanket banish and tribute itself in response to an opponent's removal effect or battle to bring them back. I can see why Konami did this, as since you can only have one, before people would tribute it to bring back its Union forms to back out onto another the next turn. But I feel this is too late, as they can only be in the extra monster zone now, so outside of first link summoning, you can only run one anyway. The next card is Denlong, first of the Yangzing. This is a light worm synchro tuner that requires one tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters. If this card is special summoned, you can add one Yangzing card from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, you can send one worm-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. This card's level becomes the sent monsters. If this face-up card leaves the field, you can special summon one Yangzing monster from your deck. You can only special summon Denlong first of the Yangzing once per turn. This card is a synchro tuner that can manipulate its level It is not surprising why it is limited, as it can help bring out Shooting Quasar Dragon or Cosmic Blazer Dragon or any other, synchro monsters, high-level synchro monsters that require a synchro tuner very easily. And it can search out 9 branches of the Yangtze, which is a powerful negating ability. This is an important combo piece in many synchro decks, and restricting it to 1 means people will have to find other ways to bring out their difficult to summon synchros. The next card is Terraforming. This is a spell card that states add 1 field spell from your deck to your hand. This is a predictable restriction, as everyone wants to get to their field spells as quickly as possible, and by limiting this, it forces the element of luck into players' decks when it comes to drawing their field spells. The next card is Spellbook of Secrets. This is a normal spell card. Add 1 spell card from your deck to your hand except Spellbook of Secrets. You can only activate 1 Spellbook of Secrets per turn. This has been restricted as a new spellbook card that draws cards. I think it's the Spellbook of Rudra. Don't quote me on that. Has been released, so to reduce its power, Konami is trying to reduce the ability to search for it. The next card is True Draco Heritage. This is a continuous spell card that says during your main phase, you can draw cards equal to the number of True Draco and True King card types, monster spell and traps sent from the field to the graveyard this turn. During your main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon 1 True Draco or True King monster face up. If this card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you can target 1 spell or trap card on the field, destroy it. You can only use each effect of True Draco Heritage once per turn. This card was popular as it would recover your resources if you had used them quickly within the turn, and when it gets sent to the graveyard, it takes away a back row card from your opponent. This was a key card, but now it makes the deck less consistent. The next card is True King's Return. This is a continuous trap card that says if this card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you can target 1 monster on the field, destroy it. You cannot activate the following effects of True King's Return in the same chain. You can target 1 True Draco or True King monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon, or during your opponent's main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon 1 True Draco or True King monster face up. You can only use each effect of True King's Return once per turn. This card permits multiple summons of your monsters. This creates a very real, very fast card advantage, and was necessary to be limited. It is far too powerful for a trap, considering it can enable summoning on both turns without many restrictions. The next card is Trickstar Reincarnation. This is a normal trap card that says banish your opponent's entire hand, and if you do, they draw the same number of cards. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Trickstar monster in your graveyard, special summon it. This card has been abused in anything and everything. Its effects to banish often means unless your opponent runs a macro deck, they will have no recovery for this strategy. So when this was at 3 and the player managed to use this, especially after a large draw, such as off of their own max C, they could lose all their important resources fast, possible decking out, and has no cost to the card user, making it too free of a card. This way it will be more luck based if you perhaps draw this card. The next set of cards are semi-limited. These are Summoner Monk. This is a dark spellcaster, level 4, with 800 attack and 1600 defense. While this card is face up on the field, it cannot be tributed. If this card is normal or flip summoned, change this card to defense position. Once per turn, you can discard 1 spell card, special summon 1 level 4 monster from your deck, but that monster cannot attack this turn. This card a while ago would have been amazing at 2, but with the limits of link monsters and extra monster zones, it is more difficult to bring out additional extra deck monsters, and it relies on you having a spell card in your hand as well. Also, there are plenty of outs to this card, such as Negation, which did not exist as much during its initial release. The next card is Wind Witch Ice Spell. This is a wind spellcaster level 3 with 1000 attack and 1000 defense. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can special summon one Wind Witch monster from your deck, but it cannot be tributed. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except level 5 or higher wind monsters. So this is basically to help you bring out a Crystal Wing. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent. You can only use each effect of Wind Witch Ice Spell once per turn. This could be used to bring out a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon with the other 2 Wind Witch monsters, and so since this combo was considered too powerful, it has been reduced slightly. The next card is Maxi. This is an Earth Insect level 2 with 500 attack and 200 defense, and says during either player's turn, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. This turn, each time your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, immediately draw 1 card. You can only use 1 Maxi per turn. This is used to stop your opponent from summoning too much, and is fine at 2. The next card is Pot of Avarice. This is a spell card that says target 5 monsters in your graveyard, shuffle all 5 into the deck, then draw 2 cards. This is an odd choice to bring back, considering that it has an alternative that is in the game. It's called Jar of Avarice. I don't think this was a smart move on Konami's part, as people use their resources very quickly, and this card could be needed very quickly as well. Though I suppose since it specifies monsters only, it does not matter as much considering the vast draw cards that currently exist. The next card is Future Fusion. It is a continuous spell card that says, during your first standby phase, after this card's activation, show 1 fusion monster in your extra deck and send the fusion materials listed on it from your main deck to the graveyard. During your second standby phase, after this card's activation, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck with the same name as the monster you showed and target it with this card. When this card leaves the field, destroy that target. When that target is destroyed, destroy this card. This card had an errata, so its effect is not as good. The materials don't go into the graveyard until your following turn, so even if you wanted to abuse the graveyard with cards such as Dragon's Mirror or Miracle Fusion, you couldn't, and since your opponent sees what you're sending to the graveyard, they have the opportunity to stop it beforehand. As a result, this is probably fine to have 2. The next card is Fossil Dig. It is a spell card that says, add 1 level 6 or lower dinosaur type monster from your deck to your hand. A standard searcher for dinosaurs that would bring Oviraptor to the hand to go into their combos. Could have been worse for them. This could have had the same treatment as Oviraptor. The next set of cards are unlimited, so you can run 3. These are Performer Pal Pendulum Sorcerer, that's a mouthful. This is an Earth spellcaster pendulum with a scale of 2 and 1500 attack and 800 defense. Its pendulum effect is, if a Performer Pal monster is pendulum summoned to your field, all Performer Pal monsters you can currently control gain 1000 attack until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. Monster effect is, if this card is special summoned, you can target up to 2 cards you control, destroy them, and if you do, add Performer Pal monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, except Performer Pal Pendulum Sorcerer, equal to the number of cards destroyed. You can only use this effect of Performer Pal Pendulum Sorcerer once per turn. This card was used to get your pendulum scales in order, but with the restrictions with pendulums means there is no longer a need to keep this card down. The next card is Witch of the Black Forest. This is a dark spellcaster at level 4 with 1100 attack and 1200 defense, and its effect is, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, Add one monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand, but you cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with that name for the rest of this turn. You can only use this effect of Witch of the Black Forest once per turn. This card has had an errata, and so its value is less. Also, there are so many search monsters for specific archetypes that adding this card will make no difference. The next card is Skarm Malebranche of the Burning Abyss. This is a Dark Fiend level 3 with 800 attack and 2000 defense. Its effect is if you control a monster that is not a Burning Abyss monster, destroy this card. You can only use one of these effects of Skarm Malebranche of the Burning Abyss per turn, and only once that turn. If you control no spell or trap cards, you can special summon this card from your hand. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard, because it was sent there this turn, you can add one level 3 Dark Fiend type monster from your deck to your hand, except Skarm Malebranche of the Burning Abyss. This card is key within the Burning Abyss deck, but has not seen much action outside of dedicated players. The next card is Rescue Cat. My prediction was right, that this card will be removed from the ban list as it has had an errata. I'll put a card up in the description, the Rescue Ferret discussion, where I had predicted this. It is an Earth Beast level 4 with 300 attack and 100 defense, and its effect is you can send this card to the graveyard, special summon 2 level 3 or lower beast type monsters from your deck, but they have their effects negated. Also, they are destroyed during the end phase. You can only use this effect of Rescue Cat once per turn. This is a good card and permits a synchro of up to a level 6 synchro and benefits beast-based decks. I look forward to running 3 of them, as I believe they could be very powerful. The next card is Burial from a Different Dimension. This is a quick play spell card that says target up to 3 banished monsters, return them to the graveyard. This can be useful if your opponent has forced your monsters out of play, or if the card you are using has a graveyard effect that requires banishing. You could reset their effects, though I suppose it has not had much impact, and it can be situational, especially at the beginning of a duel. I don't see people running 3 of these. The next card is Fire Formation Tenki. This is a continuous spell card that says when this card is activated, you can add 1 level 4 or lower Beast Warrior type monster from your deck to your hand. All Beast Warrior type monsters you control gain 100 attack. You can only activate 1 Fire Formation Tenki per turn. This card had relevance within the Boojins and some other decks such as the Wolfborg, who could bring out a rank 8 Xyz monster. It escapes my name at the moment. I think it's Coach King Giant Trainer, if I'm thinking correctly. It was a card used in the anime of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zeal. It has potential within different decks, however you will have to discover that for yourself. The next card is Preparation of Rites. This is a normal spell card that says add 1 level 7 or lower ritual monster from your deck to your hand. Then you can add 1 ritual spell card from your graveyard to the hand. This is a card used to help bring your ritual cards together. It may become stronger than other people think, considering it comes from your normal deck and not the extra. It is not restricted to that 1 summon limit, unlike the other extra deck monsters. Out of the list, I see this card as being the most likely to be limited again, as I can imagine it becoming quite popular. The next card is Sacrifice. This is an equipment spell card that says equip only to a Klee monster. It gains 300 attack and cannot be destroyed by battle. The equipped monster can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a Klee monster. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Klee monster from your deck to your hand. This card is in response to the new Link announcements for Klees, and means they will be getting better monsters somewhere down the line. Also, for this card to be like an inbuilt Kaiser Seahorse, or an inbuilt Unshaven Angler, for this specific archetype makes it a very valuable card. considering this does not need a summon condition on it. It's simply an equipment spell card that can be used at pretty much any time during your turn. The next card is Domain of the True Monarchs. This is a field spell that says, while you have no cards in your extra deck, and you are the only player that controls a tribute summoned monster, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. If a tribute summoned monster you control attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 800 attack during damage calculation only. Once per turn, you can reduce the level of one monster with 2800 attack and 1000 defense in your hand by 2 until the end of this turn, even after they are summoned or set, and even if this card leaves the field. This might hint towards more Monarch support in the future and can be used to lock your opponent out of their extra deck. This was limited at one time because of its general annoyance and is necessary within Monarchs to keep them relevant. The next card is Wavering Eyes. This is a quick play spell card with the effects of destroy as many cards in each player's pendulum zones as possible, then apply these effects in sequence depending on the number of cards destroyed by this effect. 1 or more, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. 2 or more, you can add 1 pendulum monster from your main deck to your hand. 3 or more, you can banish 1 card on the field. 4 or more, you can, well, 4 is the maximum. You can add 1 Wavering Eyes from your deck to your hand. This card has its relevance within the Pendulum era, which was the last generation, but would not be as good here as you are not likely to resolve either the 3rd or 4th effect, considering you aren't likely to face too many Pendulum monsters by your opponent. The effects are useful, but since we have moved on to links, it makes sense for Konami to straight away unban this card. The last card is Dragon Ravine. This is a field spell that says once per turn, you can discard 1 card and then activate one of these effects. You can add 1 level 4 or lower Dragoonity monster from your deck to your hand or send 1 Dragon-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. This card has had uses within Synchro Summoning and can be useful again, though with links, Konami has thought that they deserve their field spell back at 3. Overall, the decks damaged by this ban list include True Kings and True Draco'S, as their combo pieces have both been banned, as well as another popular option being limited Dinosaurs. It's a pity because before the structure deck, no one had been using Dinosaurs outside of the Pendulum vanilla version that had a short time where it was noticed. They clearly made the Dinosaurs too strong, too fast, to require them to go from never used to one of the best decks around. As for the types that have benefited, I would find it difficult to pinpoint, considering the Unlimited section is made up of a variety of cards that includes Rituals, Beasts, Burning Abyss, Monarchs, Dragoonity, Beast Warrior, Pendulums, and Clees. See what I mean? Complete randomness. So, what do you guys think of the ban list? Would there be something you want on there that wasn't? Did you prefer cards not to be banned, or did you think everything was justified? Leave your comments down below, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch this video.
Some things will never change. Well, only say the free is my life.